Hey friends, welcome back. It's officially the middle of the year and it is time to update my Bible stack and Bible study plans for the second half of 2026. And if you're new here, this channel is for Christians who are looking to stay rooted in their faith without making it overly complicated. So let's dive in. So back in January, I was in the middle of doing BSF, which is something that I've done for the last, I think, 4 to 5 years. I am in an online BSF group, and it has really been one of the things that has helped me grow my faith the most. One thing that I love about it is that it's a weekly study, which can seem really overwhelming at the beginning of the year when you order your big study guide book and it comes like this and you're like, how am I going to do this whole study? But what I love about it is it keeps me accountable. It has helped me build a weekly Bible study rhythm that has really worked for me and has helped me just really learn to go deep when I study my Bible. It's also really flexible. It's not something you have to do every single day. In fact, one of the rhythms that worked really well for me, I found, was on Sundays, I would sit down and do my whole study for the week. I like kind of binging things, I guess. So this is a way for me to Bible study binge my stuff for the week. And most of the time I would get through the lessons. Each lesson is only about 10 to 15 minutes, I'd say, of personal study time, because then on Monday evenings is when my online group would meet over Zoom. That's the rhythm that worked really well for me these last 6 months when BSF was happening. BSF runs September through May of every year. So this fall, I'll be talking about what that is going to look like here in the video shortly. So back in January, I was in the middle of our Exile and Return study, which is the study that BSF International did last year. And so I had a good rhythm of that. So that took us through the Old Testament, the whole season of Israel's history when they were rebuilding the temple and coming back out of exile. And I honestly thought that study wasn't going to be super interesting, but it was really, really cool to see so many parallels to today's world that we're living in, especially here in the United States, just to see that God was working then and God can still work now. So one concern I had when BSF wrapped up in May was I wasn't sure what I was going to study. I knew I had established a really good rhythm for my weekly studies, and I didn't want that to stop. So I saw that 2819 Church out of Atlanta was going to be starting the book of Acts. There's also a podcast called the Bema Discipleship podcast that I've been listening to for a few years, which has completely revolutionized the way that I read and understand the Bible. I will put a link to it right here. If you guys haven't ever heard of the Bema podcast, Bema Discipleship Ministry, I encourage you to check it out. It is incredible, and it is the best way, I think, to learn and understand how to read the text. So in Bema, I had actually finished the Gospels and I was at Acts as well. And so I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure God is telling me it's time for me to read the book of Acts in depth. Now, when I did the Bible recap and completed that, I did read Acts, but let's be real. Sometimes when you're trying to get through the Bible in a year or 3 years, as it took me, you tend to not absorb everything. So I wanted to really take the time to dive deeply into the book of Acts. So I decided that is what my plan would be for the summer. So with the help of a little AI, I did put together an Acts study plan for the weeks of summer that would work and align with the 2819 sermons that were coming out. Now, they just did chapters 1 and 2, but they covered the course of about 4 weeks, if I'm remembering correctly. And then Bema had multiple chapters in one episode. So it actually kind of worked out to follow the Bema episode rhythm to plan out what chapters I was going to study each week. So for the Acts study, as I'm sure you guys have seen in any of my other videos, I did about my summer Bible study rhythm. I got a journaling spiral Bible. This is the entire New Testament, and it has been a total game changer to have a spiral Bible. Let me tell you, I am hooked. Now, there are drawbacks to it, and I'm going to do a whole separate video about the pros and cons of having a spiral Bible or the whole spiral Bible volume, which is 5 of these bad boys. But for now, this is what I've been using, and I've been putting my notes in here. If you check out my summer Bible study rhythm video, which I will link right here, you can go ahead and take a look and see how I've been doing that. But here's just a little peek as to what my pages have ended up looking like, just filling those pages up with all sorts of goodness and notes and getting just some really deep dive study. One of the things that I have really been feeling a nudge from God in is to lead a women's Bible study just here locally with women I know. In this midlife season that I'm in, it's been a challenge to have strong female friendships. I have a ton of acquaintances or people that I know, and I don't want to say surface level, but just not in a deep connecting way. And I really, really love and thrive, find so much purpose in deep connected friendships. So I had felt God telling me that it was time for me to try to host a Bible study for quite some time. I've been ignoring it for a while, but this summer I decided it was finally time. So I gathered a group of girls. I prayed about just who to invite and sent out some texts, and we decided to do the Megan Fate Marshman relaxed video Bible study, and it has been absolutely incredible. We are 3 weeks into it. It is 7 sessions, so there's videos, and then this is the study guide that goes with it. There is an accompanying book that goes with it as well. For me personally, I love having a book and then doing a study, but I find it hard to get the reading in during the week. So what I really have loved about these Faith Gateway studies is that there's a video, group discussion questions, and then there's 5 days of personal study throughout the week. So it was structured actually really similar to BSF, which I really was drawn to. And I have to say, this has not disappointed. If you are not a follower of Megan Fate Marshman and her ministry and all of her preaching, you need to go and check her out immediately because her stuff is phenomenal. She is a phenomenal preacher, and her message and the way she explains things and her sense of humor, it has just been a true gift to get to learn from her in this season. So we have about 4 weeks left of this study, kind of on an every other week rhythm now. The first 3 weeks were every week, and now we're going to do every other week through the end of the study, but it has been so full and rich of goodness, and I'm just really enjoying the connection I've been able to make with some of these awesome ladies in my life. Okay, so what's ahead? That gets me through the end of summer, but then what? We still have another quarter of 4 months of the year left. So we have September, October, November, December. So my plan is to once again sign up for my BSF group and to dive into that. So I will be ordering my BSF book come July when that's available. BSF is going to be studying the book of Romans this year, and I am so excited, especially as I've been studying Acts. And I can totally see God's hand in all of this because Acts is when Paul comes onto the scene. And so to know that I'm going to be studying the book of Romans for 9 months this coming year is incredible, because I've gotten to learn about how he became a Christian and his early missionary work and just all he did to spread the news of the gospel. I really feel like there's so much stuff I didn't know about Paul that I've learned since reading the book of Acts, and I'm only through chapter 14 right now. So that is my plan. I will continue. This is my regular study Bible, my old beat up torn one with all my notes in it. So I'm going to be using this as I do my Romans study. And then I actually am also going to I'll probably use this one to read from. And then for notes, this is a different translation. This is the ESV. My other one is NLT. So I do think that was one of the reasons I got this New Testament Spiral Bible, is because it has so much more space for notes in it. So I do think I am going to put my BSF notes in here as I study, but I am also going to read from my NLT translation because I have other notes in there too that have not made their way into here. So stay tuned for how that comes together, because I'm just trying to figure out, do I transfer my notes from my study Bible into the spiral one? But I also have my Into the Margin series that is coming, where I'm putting everything from this study Bible into this journaling Bible. So I'm just kind of debating, do I put my new notes in here too, or is this strictly going to be for my old notes? I'm still kind of working all that out. So stay tuned and I'll keep you guys updated on what I decide to do with all of that. So if you take one thing away from this video today, it's that your Bible study rhythm doesn't have to look the same month after month, day after day. For me, it's been really important to find rhythms that work for me, not necessarily day to day, but more season by season. What's mattered is showing up, not the system or the topic or anything that I'm reading, but rather just showing up in a consistent way to study God's word. So I'd love to know in the comments below. What have you been studying this year? Have you learned anything about what rhythms work well for you? Share it in the comments below. I would love to hear about what works for you. And if you'd like links to any of the products I mentioned in my video today, they are down in my Amazon storefront in the description below to check out. And if you found this video encouraging, don't forget to hit subscribe so you never miss a future video. Thanks so much for being here today, guys, and I will see you next time.